Index rule for differentiation. If a function f of x or y equals x to the power of n, then its derivative, its gradient function, is n x to the n minus 1. And you see the index, you drop it, and then you take 1 off it. Okay, what that means is this: if you had f of x, y, function of x, doesn't matter, x to the 5, you will drop the 5 down there for the derivative function and take 1 off the 5. 5x to the 4. Now, does this work for things I already know the derivative of? Yes. You already know what the gradient of this line is all the time. Think about it. Y equals 2x plus 1. You have a look, blah blah blah, goes through 1, has a gradient of 2, has a what? Has a gradient of 2. That means the gradient function of this is 2. Well, let's have a look. The derivative is, now what's the index of that? That's x to the 1. If you really wanted to put an index on this, it would be 1 lot of x to the 0, x to the 0 being 1. That's going to be important right now. So, drop the 1 out in front, 1 times 2 is still 2. Take 1 off it, 2x to the 0, or just 2 times 1. Look, derivative is 2, gradient is 2. The derivative is the gradient function. What happens here? Well, you drop the 0 out in front, disappears. Also, if you think about it, if you sketched y equals 1, what would the gradient of that be all the time? 0. Okay? So its gradient function gives you 0. This gives you 0. That gives you 2. Right. So, let's do it with something else so you can see it in action one more time. 5x cubed minus 4x plus 10. Okay, so we go through, so we've got all our tricks happening now. The derivative function is drop it, 3 times 5, 15. X to the, take 1 off it, power of 2. Minus, drop it, take 1 off it, or you know the derivative of 4x, you know the gradient 4x gives you, it's 4. What gradient does a number give you? Nothing. That's it. That's the gradient function. Okay? That's the function that will give you the gradient of that curve for any x value. Let's look at a couple of things that might trip you up. Let's say y is square root of x. Let's not forget, you may as well write it like this, and then you have no problem at all. Yeah? Then you do the same thing. Drop the half out in front. Take 1 off it. Half minus 1 is to the minus half. Now, that's good enough. You can use that, or you can write it a little bit neater. 1 over 2 square root of x. Yeah? Maybe one more. 3 over x to the 4. Something like that. Now, to make it easier, we could write it as y equals 3x to the minus 4. Okay? So, to find the derivative, drop it, take 1 off it, minus 4 times 3, minus 12. X to the, take 1 off it, minus 5. So the derivative function could also be written as minus 12 over x to the 5. Done.